This is the very kind of woman that men are running from. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sheared podcast. I'm your host, Austin Creed, and my friends, today we're going to be talking about the passport bros. You know, I've seen this movement kind of take off in the shadows. Myself, I'm not a passport bro, obviously. However, I find it very interesting that men, no matter what you do as a man, you're going to get questioned, you're going to get criticized, you're going to get berated, you are going to be put through the ringer no matter what you do, no matter what you say, because then they'll say it's how you said it. No matter what you do, they could say you could have done it better, you should do it my way. As a man, you're often caught in a catch-22 where no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter what happens, you're wrong. And so when we get to the passport bros, today's question is going to be centered around that very idea. Are the passport bros wrong? I personally don't think so, but apparently there are people in the quote MSM, the mainstream media, apparently they think that a lot of the passport bros are wrong, and we're going to explore that. What we're actually going to do, and I'm kind of excited about this, we're going to look at a video by Taylor the Fiend. I've watched this guy for years, actually. I really respect his content. He's a great content creator. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this video he put out yesterday almost, about this video that he critiqued about the passport bro. So without further ado, we're gonna go through this video, we're gonna discuss, and we're gonna see both sides, and I'm gonna provide my own commentary as well. So if you have any questions about the passport bros, if you are one, that's great. I'd love to hear what your experience is, because personally, I think this is one solution for the problems we are now facing with the relationship and dating marketplace, considering that it's out of control. And it's not like hypergamy and these things didn't exist before. It's always been this way, but it's never been to this extreme level. So without further ado, we're gonna get into this video. Apparently it was the Young Turks. I don't understand. Young Turks are really annoying. I've only listened to them a couple times, but they're classic left-wing commie types who, in my estimation, are about the same level of news as CNN. But you know, I'll let you leave that. Let's let Taylor cook, and let's see what they gotta say.
Hey, there's a lot of fun things to do out here in Thailand besides just looking for a wife. People here are fun and friendly. They have a beautiful culture, amazing food. You can live like a king for like $2,000 a month. I'm traveling the world right now. I'm a single guy and dating, so I have an experience, and it's absolutely the truth that it's better. I'm sorry, I don't know what you want me to say. It's the inconvenient truth you guys don't want to hear. Hey, we're out here.
I'm gonna pause him right there immediately, because I'll tell you something. I actually lived in Cambodia, which is borders Thailand, and I've been into Thailand as well for almost a year when I was in middle school. So I was a little too young to really understand the dating dynamics and whatnot in Southeastern Asia, but I will tell you this. Money does go farther there, that is true. But I want to caution men, as much as what he's saying is accurate, there is a unfortunate reality of a language barrier, cultural clashing. Those things are very real. And also, depending on your race, you will stand out. Me, I'm a taller white guy. I stood out when I lived in Cambodia, big time. And one of my buddies who was Khmer, he would tell me all the time, hey man, like, he would like, you ever been in a situation where your friend or whoever could speak a different language than you, and then they'll hear someone else say something and then they'll react like they totally understood what they were talking about, and then you'll ask them about it and they'll be like, don't worry about it, and they'll change the subject? I had that happen to me a lot, which he then would tell me later a lot of it was due to racism and all this other crap. But I'm not telling you that to say I'm a victim. I'm saying that there is as much good as there is bad in this, and it's not going to be as easy as people might portray it, despite the fact that it definitely has its advantages. Let's continue.
Having fun, living our best lives, and if you think you're going to stop us with some middle school disses about, oh, you're a loser, you got another thing coming.
Right, so you have a lot of guys. This is not the only band that's doing this. But long story short, you have a lot of men, i.e. the passport bros is the colloquial name for them, who are deciding to leave Western society and go find traditional women and nice and pleasant women elsewhere.
That is true. Very, very true. In fact, when you look at the funny thing about the passport bros is a lot of them see success, and that's fantastic, and I'm actually really happy for them. The dark side of it that I've seen as well is they'll go to places like the Philippines, Thailand, Cambodia, Japan. They'll go to these places and then they'll date the very kinds of women that you could have found in LA, you could have found in San Diego, you could have found in Miami, you could have found in New York City, you could have found these same tattooed, overweight, whatever women in California, in Florida, in Washington, in New York City. You could have found these women in those places. Scottsdale, Arizona, you could have found these women in the exact place that you left. So, from my understanding, if you want to be a passport bro, don't just leave to go to another country to find the exact woman you could have found in, like, Anaheim, LA. Okay? Because trust me, I grew up in California. I went to LA very frequently. There are all kinds of people who live in the United States. Do not go to Thailand, to Vietnam, to Indonesia, the Philippines. Don't go there to get a woman you could have gotten in LA. Okay? That's one thing that I will say. Let's continue with Taylor's video.
Right, and it's actually a very reasonable decision that a lot of these men are doing, because let's be honest, guys, a lot of these women over here in the West, they're not really dateable. You know, men don't want to date these strong, independent, boss babe womanists, okay? Men want someone who's nice and sweet. So a lot of guys travel overseas and they say, no, thank you. But of course, it's a problem, apparently. So let's keep going.
I don't even know you. And Thailand does look fun, but that gentleman is part of a subculture in America. They're referred to as the passport bros. Who are the passport bros? Well, they're individuals who aren't really satisfied with their options here in the United States, and so they are traveling the world in search of a partner, of a wife, of someone to share their lives with, John.
I want to pause right there. I'm not going to describe this woman to you because I don't want to, I value my YouTube channel and I'm not trying to get thrown off YouTube. But what I will say is this. This is the very kind of woman that men are running from. The boss babe, independent woman who's actually not really independent, not really a boss, with, you know, no tread on her tires, has a higher body count than the room temperature, and wants to teach you as a man what masculinity is. Meanwhile, she knows nothing about being a man. She knows nothing about the experience of men, but then wants to come out here and shame you as a man if you don't do what she likes, if you don't do what she thinks that you should do. This kind of woman right here on the screen, if you're listening on the podcast, it's because this woman has the eyebrows, she's got the eyelids, she's got the hair, she's got the really chiseled, like, masculine jawline. This is exactly what men are running from in the United States of America and in the Western nations. This is what men are running from. This is why men are saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to argue with you. I don't want a second boss. I don't want to come back to my house, to my sanctuary, and have somebody tell me I need to take out the trash. This is your problem. You didn't make me feel right. You could have said this differently. I'm not giving you anything tonight because somebody yelled at me at work. We don't want to hear this garbage. We're sick of it. And so, you know what? Instead of getting mad, instead of getting hurt, we're just going to leave. Again, I'll show you this blonde white woman is exactly the kind of person who men are running from. They're the kind of people who want to sit here and tell you what being a man is. Just be a good little boy, take this raw deal, treat me like a queen, even though I secretly hate myself. I'm sick of it. And a lot of men are also sick of it, and we're out here trying to adapt and find solutions. Let's continue.
Let's watch more.
I love this. So you can already tell She is mad. She is
She
not
is.
happy. And let me tell you why before we continue. Let me tell you why women like this are not happy. Because they are no longer, for every single man that goes and leaves Western countries and goes somewhere else to find a wife, is one less potential simp or option that she has in her DMs.
That's 100% true. 100% true. Not only that, though, like, gentlemen, let's be honest for a second. It's not just about the men. Women to other women. Women will brag to other women about how much male attention that they get, what man they can wrap around their finger. It's not just about us as men. Women care more about what other women think than they do what you think as a man, by the way, in case you didn't know that. But a lot of times women will brag to other women about all these men that they're getting to follow them. They're giving them attention and all these things. And so there's that dimension as well. Women get off on controlling both men and then by extension controlling other women. Women get off on that. That's how they judge their self-esteem. And so Taylor makes a fantastic point. Now when it comes down to it, a lot of women are upset because this is chipping away at their self-esteem. And they don't want to make changes because then that would imply that they are wrong. And nobody wants to ever admit that they're wrong, especially people who have never had to do it one time in their life. Let's continue.
Particularly the older women, guys, I want to make this clear, as women go into their 30s and they start to feel the effects of no longer being able to get attention from the men that they want. It's painful for men to leave them and go give attention to women elsewhere. This is why you have a lot of these women who try and shame men who date women who are younger than them, despite the fact that they were, when they were younger, dating older guys. This is why you have a lot of these women turn into bitter and awful people, because they don't want men to be happy. They don't want men to go elsewhere. They want to continue getting the attention from men. And I don't know who the guy is. There's some guy at the end of this clip here, like, snickered because men were leaving. It's a reasonable thing to do. Like, listen to this snicker at the end here.
Of a partner, of a wife, of someone to share their lives with, John. Let's watch more.
What's John's issue here?
I'll tell you what John's issue is. Here's John's issue. John's issue is he's thinking, oh, shoot, these people are actually making a little bit of sense here. How do I seem more masculine than that guy? Oh, I'm gonna tear him down. I'm gonna bring him down a peg because then that will make me look more masculine. That'll make me, I'll score brownie points with these women, number one. And number two, instead of having to actually make a persuasive argument, I'm gonna straw man this argument. I'm gonna red herring over here, and then I'm gonna jump in to this fight against this scarecrow of an argument, and I wanna set it ablaze. And everybody's gonna tell me, oh, good job, man. Yeah, you did a really good job. Good little boy. You proved that you are a good gump and that you could be trusted to be a good government drone, like they're all, like pretty much all of the rest of the media in my estimation, with very, very rare exception, including your favorite talk show hosts on the right, by the way. Allegedly. But my friends, this is the problem. Is a lot of people, especially men, instead of reacting with logic, instead of saying, wait a minute, let's actually break the book open, let's read the subtext, let's read this, and let's go through this, they'll just straw man it. They'll pull a red herring out of their hat, and then before you know it, they've addressed nothing, they've done nothing of actual value, and all they proceed to do is make themselves look dumb. And all the other people who are also dumb and don't have no interest in actually addressing the argument will tell them that they are correct because that's what they want to believe. Now, you could say the same thing about me or about Taylor, but you'd be mistaken because at the end of the day, if this system worked, if being a passport bro didn't work, if the country that you live in has good marriage laws, we wouldn't have to consider, or in their case, actually go away to another country to get married. But guess what? Considering that is the case, whose fault is it? It's not their fault. They're adapting. That's like telling the person, oh, you know, we know the Earth's getting hotter, but I'm giving an example. I don't actually think about, I'm not actually saying global warming here, but I'm saying we as human beings have always had to adapt, whether it was the warming or the ice age or whatever. and shaming that organism for saying, how dare you want to survive? How dare you want to actually live the life your ancestors lived? You know what? You should just take this raw deal because we're telling you to do it. No. And I want to thank the passport bros for giving people an option, an opportunity to build a lifestyle for themselves that they want. I have mine with being a biblical bachelor, and they have theirs with being a passport bro. And all of these things can come together if you want to do it, but you have to use your brain, not just use your mouth and react to everything. Let's continue. Let's see how much more I want to talk about this.
You know, hilarious. But you can tell that these news presenters are not happy about this.
Yep.
Okay, let's keep going.
Oh, yeah. Passport bros?
What is a passport?
Oh, good old Uncle Ben is on the channel now. Oh boy. All right, let's see what you got to say.
Okay, passport bros are men that are so fed up with Western women because we're all apparently so woke and so terrible, and Western women don't want to be wives, that they are now going to other countries to find wives.
That's like which countries?
Southeast Asia, the Philippines, the Dominican Republic.
So it's like the opposite of the mail order bride.
Yes,
They're like,
exactly.
Okay, so they're,
Yes.
instead of ordering out, instead of using stamps.com,
Yeah, and bringing them here,
right,
they're like, we
using
want to get out.
Travelocity. It feels more expensive, but
It is. And so a lot of these men get remote jobs. And so they go there and they live in these countries, and then they meet these women. And then women in the Western world, specifically the United States, are so pissed off about it. And they're like, you're going to all these countries where these women don't even know how to speak English. They can't even read. They're so uneducated. And then the men like film themselves with these women and like show themselves on dates. And the women are so elegant and they're so well spoken and they're so traditional. And they're like, look at these women. Yeah, passport bros.
okay.
Okay, here's what I don't get. The life of me, my friends, I don't understand how people could have an issue with the passport bros. Unless you're just mad that now you don't get to corner the marketplace and you don't have a monopoly over the men anymore, which is the only thing I can really see here. And so when I ask the question of the passport bros wrong, absolutely not. They have full right to do what they want to do. Now, are other countries that these men are going to react to this? Oh, you bet you they will. In fact, they already have in some cases. Now, we need to be aware though that just because things aren't perfect here does not necessarily mean that they're better in every way in another country. I'll tell you this right now. We take a lot of things for granted in the Western world. So if you want to be a passport bro, more power to you. I will one-up you. Fantastic. Just be aware though that learning the language, understanding the culture and everything is very advantageous of you before you go there. You need to understand that, and especially if you think that racism is bad here, which in some cases it is, it's really bad in a lot of the countries what was her name again? Cooper, I think is her name. The woman talking to Ben Shapiro, I forget what her name is. But what she was talking about, all these different countries that these men are going to, you need to understand that racism is really bad over there. And not only is that, the government is not as strong. So therefore, a lot of crime, a lot of gangs, a lot of not necessarily clean drinking water. All these things are things we take for granted over here in a lot of ways. So just be aware of those realities. As if you're not a well-traveled guy. If you are, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of places you can't even go off the resort because you're liable to not come back in one piece But just be aware of what's going on if you want to take this lifestyle, which I completely think you can if you want to do it. My friends, I'll leave the video there. I think Taylor does a good channel. You can go check out his channel if you want. He does a great job. My friends, we really need to understand that we need to adapt as men. I don't care if you want to stay in America or your country of origin, or you want to go across the world. We need to be able to adapt to the world we're living in. Because if we try to use old ideas in this modern society, we try to use the same idea all the time through, we're only signing ourselves up for getting exploited. And I don't want you to get exploited. Everybody's trying to exploit you with very rare exception. And we need to adapt. Otherwise, you're going to go the way of the dinosaurs, and I don't want that for you. But my friends, as we're talking about the passport bros, if you want to learn about my philosophy, Biblical Bachelor will be in the description. It's fantastic. You don't have to be Christian if you don't want. It's not necessarily geared to only Christian men, but I will tell you this. If you are a young guy, you're trying to build a philosophy, or you're trying to build a bedrock for yourself, whether it's you're thinking about being a passport bro, or you're thinking about whatever, you need to understand that you have options. And to exercise your options is the most advantageous move that we can recommend. I'll leave it at that. Feel free to share your comments, stories, anything to encourage people to enlighten others about this lifestyle. I'm actually very excited about it. I've considered it myself, and I still might even going forward. We'll think about it. But in the meantime, my friends, my X page at Sheared, you can go over there if you want. DM me. We can talk about the Passport Bro experience, or you can comment. I really want you to share your experience with this, because this is a very new and real solution for men. Until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves, question everything, do your own research, because that is what smart people do. I'm out. Peace.